the lights go out. Not just the lamp in your living room or the street light outside your window. Everything. Every screen goes black. Every hum stops. Every electronic pulse that keeps modern civilization breathing just dies. Welcome to the nightmare scenario that 99% of people aren't prepared for, a total electrical grid collapse. You've got exactly 7 days to prove you're not one of the statistics, 7 days to demonstrate whether you're the type of person who adapts and survives, or the type who becomes another forgotten name in the aftermath reports. Because here's what they don't tell you in those disaster movies. The real enemy isn't the darkness, it's time. And time just became your most ruthless opponent. Most folks think a blackout means no Netflix, and maybe some melted ice cream. They figure the power company will have things sorted by morning, maybe by the weekend. They're wrong, dead wrong. A complete grid failure means no water treatment plants, no fuel pumps at gas stations, no refrigerated food supply chains, no communication networks, no banking systems, no nothing. The entire infrastructure that keeps 8 billion people alive just vanished faster than your phone battery during a power outage. Day one is when reality starts sinking in. The silence hits first. No air conditioning units cycling on and off. No refrigerator motors humming in the background. No distant highway noise. Just an eerie quiet that makes your ears ring. This is when smart people start moving and average people start waiting for someone else to fix things. Your first mission is water. Not coffee, not checking social media, water. Because in roughly 12 hours, maybe less, the municipal water pressure drops to 0. Those pipes running under your street depend on electric pumps to push water through the system. No electricity means no pressure. No pressure means bone-dry taps and empty toilet tanks.
Fill everything that can hold liquid. Bathtubs, cooking pots, mixing bowls, empty milk jugs, that decorative pitcher you never use. Every single container becomes a potential lifeline. You're racing against physics here. Gravity will drain those elevated water towers, pressure will equalize, and then the taps run dry for who knows how long. Don't forget about your hot water heater. That tank holds anywhere from 30 to 80 gallons of clean water. Attach a hose, if you have one, open the valve, and catch every drop in buckets. It's already filtered and treated. It's gold. Once you've secured water, inventory your food situation like you're conducting a military audit. Check expiration dates. Prioritize anything that requires refrigeration because your freezer just became a very expensive cooler. You've got maybe 6 to 8 hours before frozen items start thawing, maybe 12 if you keep the doors sealed tight. After that, it's a race against bacteria and spoilage. Cook the perishables first. Fire up that gas stove while the propane still flows. Most gas appliances don't need electricity to operate. The pilot light still works, the burners still ignite. Use them. Grill everything you can outside if you have a barbecue. Don't worry about fancy recipes or proper seasoning. You're cooking for survival, not Instagram. Canned goods become your new currency. Dried beans, rice, pasta, anything with a long shelf life suddenly transforms from boring pantry staples into precious resources.
Count every can, calculate portions, ration like your life depends on it, because it literally does. A can of soup isn't just lunch anymore. It's one of maybe 20 meals standing between you and serious hunger. Light management separates the smart survivors from the Darwin Award candidates. Candles seem romantic until they tip over and turn your house into a crematorium. Flashlights work, but batteries die fast when you're using them constantly. Hand crank flashlights never run out of juice. Neither do shake lights that generate power from motion. Solar-powered LED lights charge during the day and provide illumination at night. Here's the crucial part about lighting. Keep it minimal, keep it hidden. In a blackout scenario, the house glowing with candles and flashlights becomes a beacon, not for rescue teams or helpful neighbors, for desperate people who assume you have supplies they need. Dark houses get ignored, well-lit houses get visited. And those visits aren't social calls. Day 2 brings the harsh realization that this isn't temporary. The smell starts. Toilets don't flush without water pressure. Garbage doesn't get collected. Food spoils in dark refrigerators. Your comfortable suburban neighborhood begins its transformation into something more primitive, something more dangerous. Sanitation becomes critical for survival, not comfort, survival. Diseases that were eradicated generations ago make comebacks when sewage systems fail. Cholera, dysentery, typhoid, these aren't historical footnotes.
They're active threats waiting in contaminated water and improper waste disposal. You need a waste management system. Dig a latrine at least 200 feet from any water source. Make it deep, 2 feet minimum. Use it exclusively. Cover waste with dirt after every use. This isn't optional outdoor plumbing. This is disease prevention. This is staying alive. Your water supply needs constant attention. Boil everything you drink, every single drop. Even water that looks clean can harbor bacteria, viruses, and parasites that will put you down hard when you can least afford weakness. No exceptions, no shortcuts. Boil it, let it cool, then boil it again if you have any doubts. Rain becomes liquid gold. Set up collection systems using tarps, garbage bags, anything with a wide surface area. Funnel the collected water into storage containers. Filter it through layers of sand, gravel, and cloth to remove visible debris. Then boil it thoroughly before consumption. The first 2 days determine everything that follows. Handle them correctly, and you buy yourself time to adapt. Handle them poorly, and day 3 becomes a crisis that might not have a solution. Your neighbors are figuring this out too. Some will organize, some will panic, some will get desperate, and desperate people make dangerous decisions. Day 3 is when the mask comes off, when the polite veneer of civilization starts cracking like old paint. The grocery stores are empty, not picked over, empty. Shelves stripped cleaner than bone.
Security systems are down. Locks are just suggestions now. And that friendly neighbor who used to borrow your lawnmower, he's measuring the distance between his empty pantry and your hopefully stocked one. This is the pivot point, the moment when preparation meets desperation. When having supplies stops being smart and starts being a target. Your house needs to look like every other house on the block. Abandoned, boring, not worth the trouble. Board up windows from the inside so it looks vacant from the street. Keep lights minimal and never visible from outside. Movement attracts attention. Attention brings visitors. Visitors bring problems. Security isn't about building a fortress. It's about being invisible. The house that looks like it has nothing gets left alone. The house that looks occupied gets tested. Tested by people who have nothing left to lose. People who've watched their kids go hungry for 3 days straight. Desperation erases morality faster than you'd think possible. Set up early warning systems. Cans filled with pebbles tied to string across potential entry points. Gravel under windows that crunches when stepped on.
Anything that gives you advance notice when someone's probing your perimeter. Sleep becomes tactical now. Light sleeping, one eye open, ready to move or defend at the first wrong sound. Communication becomes your lifeline to sanity. Battery-powered radios still function when everything else fails. AM and FM frequencies carry emergency broadcasts, news updates, proof that somewhere out there, people are still trying to hold things together. Listen for patterns, government announcements, military communications, ham radio operators sharing information between cities. No radio? Build one from scraps. A crystal radio requires no power source. It harvests energy directly from radio waves. Coil some wire around a cardboard tube, add a diode from any old electronic device, connect an earphone, string up the longest antenna wire you can manage. The signals are weak, but they're there. Voices in the static proving the world hasn't completely ended. Yet, food becomes mathematics. Calories in versus calories burned. Your body is adapting already.
Switching from glucose to fat metabolism. That foggy-headed feeling isn't confusion, it's ketosis. Your brain running on a different fuel source. Embrace it. You're becoming more efficient, more focused on what actually matters. Hunting and trapping require patience and skill you probably don't have, but hunger is an excellent teacher. Simple snares work. A loop of wire anchored to a solid tree. Place it on a game trail where animals naturally walk. Check it daily. Rabbits, squirrels, anything small enough to catch and large enough to matter.
Cook everything thoroughly. Parasites and bacteria don't care about your survival story. Forage carefully. Dandelions are edible. So are acorns if you process them right. Cattails growing near water sources provide starchy roots. But misidentify one plant and you're dead. Stick to what you know. Absolutely, stick to what you can verify. There's no margin for botanical experimentation when medical help doesn't exist.
Water remains your constant concern. Municipal supplies are contaminated now. Standing water breeds bacteria like conspiracy theories breed panic, fast and dangerous. Solar stills work when rain doesn't come. Dig a hole, place a container in the center, cover with plastic sheeting. Weight the center with a rock to create a dip. Solar energy evaporates moisture from soil. It condenses on the plastic and drips into your container. Slow process but reliable. Stream water, pond water, puddle water, all contaminated, all requiring treatment. Boil it. Filter it through sand and charcoal. Boil it again. Assume everything is poisoned because survival assumes the worst and prepares accordingly. Hope for the best, but plan for disaster. That's the mindset that keeps you breathing. Day 4 through 7 becomes endurance, not just physical, mental. The adrenaline has worn off. The initial crisis energy has faded. Now it's just the grinding daily reality of existing without the safety net of modern infrastructure. This is when people break.
When the mind gives up before the body does. When staring at walls becomes more appealing than facing another day of uncertainty. Routine becomes medicine. Wake at the same time. Eat at scheduled intervals. Sleep when darkness comes. Structure prevents mental collapse. It gives meaning to meaningless days. It keeps you human when everything around you suggests humanity was just a temporary arrangement. The power might return. Government restoration crews might succeed. The grid might resurrect itself through some technological miracle. Or it might not. Plan for permanence. Ration like this is forever. Conserve like there's no resupply coming. Adapt like the old world is gone and this is what remains. Because here's the truth about survival. It's not about being the strongest or the smartest. It's about being the most adaptable, the most willing to accept that comfortable assumptions no longer apply, the most ready to do whatever ugly, difficult, necessary things reality demands. 7 days changes everything. Not just the world around you. You, the person who emerges from this week, isn't the same person who went in.
They're harder, more focused, more aware of how thin the line is between civilization and chaos. They understand that preparation isn't paranoia, it's insurance, and insurance pays dividends when the bill comes due. The grid is still dead. Your phone is still a paperweight. Society is still unraveling like a cheap swatter, but you're still here, still breathing, still fighting, still refusing to become another statistic in the aftermath reports. That's not luck. That's preparation meeting opportunity. That's survival. 7 days. That's all it takes to separate the prepared from the forgotten. You now know the difference between panic and planning, between hope and strategy. Water, food, sanitation, security, communication. These aren't just survival tips. They're the foundation of resilience when everything familiar disappears. The grid will fail again someday. The question isn't if, but when. And when that darkness comes, you won't be caught empty-handed waiting for someone else to save you.